Good morning, everybody. I have to find it, which is somewhere here, okay? Okay, so again, good morning, and I would like to thank the organizers, the Marine School of the University of Haifa, the Israel Oceanographic and Universal Research, of course, the Academy of Science officials, and all the organizers for inviting me here. I'll try to present some information on a regional level, because this is an issue that has to be taken into consideration, as you understand very well. So, I will present three items, actually. What has been done up now, where we stand, which are the developments which are now ongoing in the Mediterranean region, and that will have also an impact in the future steps, and some issues that we have to underline and to enforce in order to have some meaningful results in our efforts. So, you know that especially monitoring is a national issue. It is being done nationally in Israel, in other countries, but the additional, let's say, step is the regional approach. And the regional approach is being under mainly the Mediterranean Action Plan. This is the Barcelona Convention, as you know. So the Barcelona Convention is the regional setup for monitoring and assessment. But also we should not forget that we have also the European Union. You know that in the northern part of the Mediterranean, we have a lot of countries that are becoming more and more numerous that are joining the EU. Therefore, it has to be a combination, this regionality of the Mediterranean Action Plan and the activities of the EU. Just to let you know, some of you know very well the system, but I would like to give you also some more information about this. The Barcelona Convention. Okay, so we have the convention, which has been initially signed in 1976, amended in 1995, and enforced in 2004. And this convention is for the protection of the marine environment in the coast region of the Mediterranean, right? In coast. And also, we have 7 protocols. This constitutes the legal framework on a regional level in the Mediterranean, 3 of which are directly related to pollution and to the monitoring necessities in the Mediterranean region. We have the protocol for the protection of the Mediterranean from land-based pollution. It's called LGS protocol. It is the main force which is driving regional monitoring efforts. But we do have also the protocol for the protection against pollution from exploration and exploitation of the continental shelf. This is very becoming because, you know, it has already been said about the new efforts for drilling oil and gas and minerals from the Mediterranean. It is not something that is in a legal void. There is already a protocol that forces countries to do something to protect the marine environment from these activities and, of course, to monitor the impact. And we will have also a protocol for preventing pollution from ships in case of emergency. This is related to the accidents, oil accidents, for example, tankers accidents, and so on. Of course, there are also other protocols related to biodiversity, related to dumping from ships, related to the interpretal coastal management. I don't go into details, but it is important to know that there is in place a regional legal framework that can be used by countries individually in order to protect their environment, but also to help them protect the environment of other areas of the Mediterranean. Just a couple of details for UFMAR, the Mediterranean Plan. In relation to monitoring, because this is what we are dealing with, monitoring on pollution. This is mandatory from the Article 8, that the contracting parties have to carry out monitoring in order to assess pollution and in order to evaluate the effectiveness of action plans to eliminate pollution. So we do have in the convention more in depth in the land-based source protocol. As I said, there is the contracting parties to carry out monitoring program. So it is both in the convention and the protocols. It is an obligation. As you will see, unfortunately, not all countries are so well implementing this legal obligation as Israel or other countries. Israel is one of the best, let's say, best, it's not a good word to say best, but it's one of the countries that follow more, let's say, faithfully the obligations that they have signed. Unfortunately, it's not always the case in other countries. And just to let you know, the MEDPOL is a program for the assessment and control. MEDPOL is collecting national monitoring data. Therefore, there is in Athens, which is the MAP and MEDPOL Secretariat, there is a database from the Mediterranean countries. And also assist countries to assess and control pollution and organize and carry out capacity building programs. I made this presentation to let you know that there is already an institutional legal framework for protection at the regional level of the Mediterranean. So, what is the situation up to now? If this has been successful, this effort, you will see if it's yes, it is or not. So, monitoring was done many, many years ago, but it was not regionally coordinated. Since 1996, the national monitoring programs are coordinated, and that means that they have discussed and submitted a proposal of the national monitoring program to the Secretariat of the Mediterranean Action Plan. And then the countries decided which parameters to analyze in which area. So there are some general information and let's say oceanographic parameters plus nutrients and chlorophyll, and there are in relation to the contaminants, it has to be monitoring on sediments and biota for trace elements, three of which are mandatory: chlorinated hydrocarbons, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and also they decided that it would be on the biota, they decided some key candidate species. They decided that everybody should use unbivalves, nutritional potentials for most of the countries, not in the Eastern Mediterranean. I know that in Israel we don't have nutritional potentials because it's a very isotropic, but we do have other bivalves that can be used and are used for this kind of monitoring. And also, if a country wants to do something at least, to use red mullet, which is a benthic fish, and it's more sedentary, so it can reflect the concentration on the spot, and also it is a species that is consumed by people. After all this effort, there are already 35,000 observations on contaminants on a regional level in the database of the sport, coming from different areas. Speaking on that, in order to assess, because then I will present you some median values and some ranges. In order to make an assessment, although there were initially a lot of subdivisions in the Mediterranean, they decided as a first and approximately step, I would say, to divide the Mediterranean in 4 areas. The Western Mediterranean, after west of the Sicily Canal, as we said, it is a completely distinct seawater. The Adriatic, also distinct areas. Aegean and Levantine, and this is what they call it Central. I know you are oceanographers, many of you know that this is not really oceanographic division. Because how can you put together the 400 meters depth of the Aegean with 1,000 meters depth here in the Mediterranean? It's not the same environment. You cannot also make the same comparison with the Nile outflow with the central or even the Aegean Sea, because there is no really water coming from rivers. Nevertheless, disregarding it was kind of a political decision trying to help simplify something, and it was in line with the European decision on how to divide the different kinds of seas. So just for your information, no further on that. So what do we have? There are data on very several sediments from 40 countries, approximately 4.500 data points. More information on trace elements in biota, mainly N-nucleotides provincialis, again for 14 countries. Less information on chlorinated pesticides in biota, and also PCBs in biota. But the problem is that this is from the lesser number of countries. As it has already been said, although this is not completely up to date, most information comes from the northern part of the Mediterranean, a lot of information from Israel, Egypt, and that's it. There is a long, and Tunisia, there are some data, and some from Morocco. There is a long area here that there's no data available. And of course, here also, Spain, it began providing data later on. Just bear in mind, that does not mean that there is no data on these areas. It means that this data has not been submitted to the Medpol Secretariat. And this is an issue that we will come back later on. So, what kind of first information we get out of the Medpol database? These are median values, which with this plotter and the different kinds of the median values with the cost to Richter box and Richter plots. What you can see, because I will go only on a qualitative level. This is for kindness, for example. We do see a higher median concentration in the West Mediterranean, which is also found out in every area. It is related to industrial development apparently, and in the Aegean and equal Levantine concentration median are very low. For other elements, you see that there are no real big difference in the median value. Small difference here, but not concerned. What is important though is that we do have outliers very important in some areas. And this is something we have to do with the way this monitoring program was organized. It was not organized in a monitoring a general monitoring program of the coastline. It was organized in a monitoring program mainly focusing on hotspots, pollution hotspots. So there are some samples taken from really pollution hotspots that could be representative of a specific region, but not representing the whole Mediterranean. That's why the median concentration is something more close to the reality of what is the median in the coastal zone. But the outliers are dealing with specific conditions. For example, the Adriatic. The Adriatic, they have the four rivers discharged in North Adriatic, and which brings a lot of industrial, let's say, effluent. And also, there are the old mines in Slovenia. There are mercury mines, and as a result, the sediment of the North Adriatic are really contaminated and for mercury. Same goes also in the coast of Spain, because of the mercury mines in Spain. Mercury mines in Spain have been used since the Roman times, and there are still outfalls, and there are also legacy pollution. If we go, this was for sediment. Since we go for biota, you see that there are no big difference in the median values. Again, you may find some high concentration of mercury in some regions like the Adriatic or like the West Mediterranean, as already said. This gives information about some median values which could be as, I wouldn't say background, I would say an average. We do have therefore information on average. And if we go on organics, there the situation is less, we have less information, but still, it looks like here we have some variability. It looks like, for example, for the Aegean, in the Aegean and East Levantine, concentrations tend to be higher. And in the DDT issue, although the median are more or less comparable, we have some extremely high concentration again in the North Adriatic as for index. Maybe, I say, it has to be linked with the, after the change of regime, I mean, after the collapse of the Soviet era in these regions, there were a lot of stockpiles of old chemicals. There were factories producing DDTs, although and other contaminants, and used banned pesticides. For example, in Albania, we found out they find out very high concentration of DDT off the coast of recent DDT. And this is something that is something very specific in the region, but in general, it doesn't mean that it is there at all. So, if we look at the data availability, including not only the medical data, but also some scientific literature, has been piled up by UNEP experts on this one in 2015. And this is a different kind of contaminant. This is the unsediment, biota. We have good database, more or less, so and so, or poor database, the main areas they found the information and the trends in sediment and biota. Don't take this in a very robust, don't take this as a very robust, scientifically sound data. It gives a trend because it is based on some information from the report, some information from literature. It doesn't mean that this is all available information there. However, there are some interesting trends. For the metals, it looks like there are some information on biota, and there is no real information on trends because most of these data are from surface, but it looks like that there is some increased trend in biota for cadmium and mercury. And this is interesting because it's not clear why. For mercury, it has already been said that it may be a legacy of redistribution from secondary sources of mercury because of former pollution or continuation of pollution in some areas. But it's an issue, and you know very well that mercury on the global, on the ocean level, is being also recirculated through the marine environment, through the atmosphere. But again, it's an issue of concern. That means that we are not really over with these old metals in the sea. Organotin, very poor information, generally no specific trend, and also for the polyaromatics, again, no specific trend. You see that the data from the southwest Levantine, there are more in this area. It does not mean that there is no information on the others from Israel. There is a lot of information in Israel, but if you take the broader area, it is not enough information according to the literature research they did. I know that there is a lot, but this is something that really compiled recently by men called UNEP experts. The good thing is that for a lot of contaminants, organic, there are trends of decreasing trends in sediment and most importantly in biota, which means that at least for these areas things are going well. Okay. In this part, for example, there are some examples of long trends since many years in the West Coast. This is the trend system. Shows a slight decrease for cadmium and mercury, and more strong decrease, for example, for lead. And this is something that is happening at least in the west part. Overall, if we can give an overall view, regardless of the details, it looks like the old organohalogens, like DMD, for example, or PCBs, they are in decline, mainly in biota. For trace elements, it seems that we have some increase in some areas which need further investigation. And what has been found, it is that there are a lot of very high concentrations in cetaceans and in predators in the open sea. That does not come from the medical, it comes from scientific papers, and especially in the northwestern basin, that there were a lot of data on that. This is an issue of concern, especially for fish that they are commercially used, tuna, for example. And another thing is that contaminants in general, although trends may be going down, they are higher than other areas, mainly because, as you understand, Mediterranean is a closed sea, so the closed conditions, let's say, enhance this kind of accumulation. However, and this however is very important, we do have important geographical areas. So this is not, again, as I say, it is not a robust statistically result. Few temporal trends are available in few areas. And this is something that we'll talk a lot about later on. There is a questionable quality of data in many areas. Few contaminants are really regionally monitored, maybe the typical one, DDT, maybe, PAHs, some methods. And one very important thing, because data is rich, there is a very restricted availability of data. Not in the case of Israel. I know that Israel Demographic Research, they have a data platform, but it's not the case in many other areas, and it's something that creates problems. So, we arrived so far, what has been done? So what is being done now? Now there has been a change in the approach. No more pollution monitoring. We speak about an ecosystem approach. What it means? The countries decided to apply an ecosystem approach to the management of human activities that may may affect the Mediterranean and coastal environment. We're not speaking anymore about protecting the environment. We speak about an approach to manage the environment, which is a shift in semantics that is very important, because we are not anymore a conservative, we are a manager. And the manager of the environment has to be done in an ecosystemically sound way. In order to be able to do that, by the way, the overall aim is to achieve a good environmental status by 2020. Okay, this is a first, let's say, optimistic goal. Then we will stress first. That's the reality. And I have to say that it's fully compatible with the European Union Marine Strategic Framework Directive, which has the same target, good environmental status. To do that, we have to be able to have objectives, and we have to have operational objectives, what to do, and we have to have indicators how to follow. So, in the ecosystem approach, there are 11 Mediterranean ecological objectives, 28 operational objectives, and 61 indicators how to follow. I will go very quickly on that. What we are interested in is on the contaminant, we are interested, and what I will speak, because everybody is not on the same scale. What I want to say is that these objectives include diversity, indigenous species, fisheries, marine food web, eutrophication, seafloor integrity, hydrographic conditions, and how to maintain them, natural dynamics in the coastal area to avoid removal and alteration of the coastal landscape. Of course, one of the objectives is that contaminants cause no significant impact on coastal ecosystems and human health. And of course, we have coastal litter, including microplastics and noise. So this is a completely different approach. We don't speak about conservation solutions. We try to speak always on everything together. And just to give you an example, the objective is, for example, for the contaminant, the objective is to have concentrations within a certain limit. Indicator, because we have to have some indicator, is that the concentration of key harmful contaminants in relevant matrices is an indicator. So we have to measure a series of contaminants, and this will be the indicator. And the good environmental status that we are aiming for is that the level of pollution is below a determined threshold. And how is the target? The target is that the concentration of contaminants are below an environmental assessment criteria or below some reference concentration. I will speak about this, and that there is no deterioration trend. So a similar approach, but I'm not going into detail, is for the other, because we have 5 operational objectives for the ecological objective contaminants. The first one was level of contaminants in the biota, in the different matrices. A second operational objective is an effect, because concentration is fine, but what is the effect? This is the problematic one, because we know effect, it has to be a cause and effect relationship for the effect. We know that for TBDs and impossessed, but we don't know exactly for many other contaminants, because there are contaminants that they may have a different effect under stress. So this is something that maybe it is under development of batteries of methods to measure effects and try to relate them to specific contaminants. This is ongoing work. There is an operational objective about acute pollution. It is about accidents, how to minimize them. And there is it is an operational objective on seafood safety, because contaminants in the marine environment is one thing, but contaminants in seafood for safety is another thing. You do a different kind of sampling, but it's also an objective, and it's an objective also on the water quality. It is microbiological objective. So these are the 5 operational objectives of the overall ecological objectives on contaminants. So we need to have, as I said, environmental criteria for consideration. How to have the threshold, what is good, what is not good. There are different methods. We do have environmental quality standards. This is from EU. The problem is that these environmental quality standards are in water. It was built up initially for fresh water. It can be in sea water, but you know very well that in the marine environment, a lot of these contaminants do not stay in seawater. They go down to the sediments or they are going in the organic, in the biota. So we have a need to develop and have environmental criteria for biota assessment, which is under development in the EU, and as we will see, it is something to be developed also in the Mediterranean. We have the approach of NOAA, of course, about the quality criteria for sediment, of CTSA, but they were being used. And we have also about the WHO, the World Health Organization, dietary limits for contaminants in seafood. So we have different kinds of criteria. What has been used in OSMAR, what is being proposed for MAP. Barak knows very well because he was one of the scientists that assisted in creating this report towards MAP. So Barak, please forgive me if I say things not in the detail that you could have said, but nevertheless I have to say that. So, there is a traffic light system. This is an approach, how to have environmental criteria. And the approach is to have two thresholds. One threshold, the T0 is to define the threshold as treatment type. Below the T0, there is no biological effect. We can say we are in background. Fine. But as you know, we may be above the background, because in many areas we are above the background, but still not having really effect. And if you want to be realistic, we cannot pretend to come back to before the human development of civilization. Therefore, we have to assess and to set some environmental assessment criteria which will be above the background but will still be safe. That is the idea behind it. And the second one, the T1, is a boundary that corresponds to the achievement of the policy objective. In a way, it's a threshold between acceptable and unacceptable environmental conditions. And this, you may have some biological effects that you can live with them, okay, questionable, but this is the approach. And beyond that, we cannot accept. It is not something we can accept because we have problems, long-term biological effects. So, how we get the T0? The T0, the baseline, it is through pre-industrial layers to the sediment. You go down pre-industrially, and you say this is the background of the area. Of course, you make a statistical calculation to assess this background assessment criteria. It's something related to the variability of the analysis, but I'm not going into that in detail. And of course, you have to normalize aluminum or to organic carbon for different contaminants. In the biota, you have to go in a clean area, because now you cannot go pre-civilized. You have to go to a clean area to take samples and take the lowest part to consider that to be a background. So this is the approach. Of course, again, we need normalizing to age. So, where we arrive on this table. The T0 is the background assessment criteria, fine, and then we have to find the T1. And the T1 for aromatics and for PCBs, we can define through toxicological studies to find out which are the concentrations that cause chronic effects. We were not able, they were not able, because this has been developed in Oslo Paris Convention in the Northeast Atlantic. So, based on the available information, they were able to define for biota PCBs and pHs and sediment. For metals in sediment and for the aromatic in sediment, it was not possible to have enough information, ecotoxicological information, so they decided to use the American approach, the effect range low, which is the lowest 10 percentile concentrations available data, which are effects are observed, but they are the lowest part. So they define ERL as to be used for sediment in this area, and for biota, unfortunately, it was not possible to have neither environmental criteria nor ERLs for biota, so it was decided to use something which is a questionable approach, to use the dietary limits of WHO. So this is something that the Mediterranean agreed, actually. They will have, of course, the COP meeting next February in Athens, but in the meetings at the level of experts, they agreed to use for the time being the OSPAR, let's say, criteria, trying to go further. So, The question is, do you have a comprehensive data set for defining the background assessment? I'm afraid not yet. There are some available information, but mainly, and this is, as you remember, these are the data settings before pre-data. We do have information. That's not problem in training. It's very big. We do have a first approach, but we need to have more because there are not a lot of data. Segments from the network data are made from surface layer, there is no aluminum, etc., no data force, and again for the organism, there are few organizational system areas, etc. So the network database is nice, but not really very useful for defining facts. We can use some, but not enough. There is some data research, and actually the effort that has been made to use data force from research to define the facts and segments. It was a proposal made on us by Barak and Professor Baguette, but it's still something which needs further discussion and needs further data. So, compilation of data is needed for establishing regional facts. I say that because this is work to be done in the future. Very important. On the environmental assessment criteria, again, I said, it's a ecotoxicological study, so we don't have enough in the Mediterranean. What is needed is to develop a Mediterranean environmental assessment criteria through ecotoxicological research for species of the Mediterranean. For the time being, the group of experts proposed to use the EAC defined for the nucleus edifice to be applied to the nucleus provincialis and the bivalves in the Mediterranean, and we try to find a better fit for using the EAC for nucleus provincialis. This is under discussion, this is a proposal. And again, it is very highly needed ecological research on Mediterranean species for defining of these predators. I have 5 minutes on here. I'm sorry, I thought at the beginning that 40 minutes were too much, and then I found out that it's not good. For me, maybe I should. Anyway, I want to highlight a couple of issues about quality assurance. Out of all these things, because it gave you an information where we were, where we want to go visually, and I want to highlight a big issue, a big problem, and this is the quality assurance. You know that quality assurance has to be integrated. You need to have knowledge about the field sampling, the storage of samples, sample preparation, analysis, data sampling. For the medical database, we do not have all this information. We do have some information on the proficiency test, but not information on the others. Nevertheless, one could say, okay, we need this information because we can test, but let's see what is going on the proficiency test. What is the result of the medical database? Just to let you know that in the laboratory of the International Energy, we are collaborating since many years, and we have organized already worldwide interlaboratory comparison, proficiency test for the Mediterranean, and lots of training, lots of scientists, etc. So there is work done there. But unfortunately, the results are not as good as we'd like to be. I will show a couple of slides. And in these couple of slides, I will present the temporal trends in laboratory performance in the Mediterranean from 2005 to 2014. Please, that does not mean that all the Mediterranean laboratories participate in this test. This is one of the problems. Many times, laboratories from the north part of the Mediterranean do not participate. So we have more laboratories that they are not from the, let's say, France, Spain, Italy. Recently we do have also from Italy and Spain, not from France, but you see some tendencies that I wanted to show you. First of all, you see a method. The green is acceptable, below 2, Z below 2. And this is a way to measure the performance. This is the questionable, and this is the unacceptable result. You see that for trace element, around 70% is okay, but still there is something like 30% is not okay. And it is consistent. For the chlorinated pesticide, I'm sorry to say that it's going down. The same goes for petroleum hydrocarbons. The same goes for PCBs. What it means? It means that in the laboratories that participated in recent proficiency tests, results were not good. Still, These laboratories provide data to the medical database, and they are included in our calculation. If you see the participation unfortunately is low. Out of the samples we take around, and we send around samples, as I said, to this year we send samples for 50 laboratories for fresh elements, another 50 for organic. We see that participation is 50% average on these years, these 7 years. For fresh elements, below 50% response for organic. That means we send the samples, we don't get any nothing at all. This is a problem. Probably has to do with understanding of the authorities of the importance of participating in these laboratories. And you see that the trend in years. So it is the participation goes for fresh elements and how the participation goes for the other contaminants. And the question is, when they participate more, do they have better results? I don't know exactly, because unfortunately we're not able to follow one laboratory for many, many years, because laboratories change. However, here is an indication. In red, you have the laboratories that they have participated more than 4 times during the last 6 proficiency tests. And in blue, the laboratory is the results overall. So it looks like that the laboratories that participate more often, they tend to have better results than the others. Okay. And another problem is that depending on the level of the analysis inside the sample, we get different results. For example, here it is the unacceptable results, that they are going down if the concentration is high, and they go very high with the unacceptable results if the concentration of the analysis is very low. That means that's why we need to do proficiency tests with different levels of concentrations in order to be able to make sure that laboratories can do good work in different levels of concentration. But these are some indications. And this is before the conclusion, the last slide. So the big question is that, is the medical proficiency test, I can't make the point because it's Mediterranean wide. It is getting better or worse. For trace elements is neutral. Does not improve. Approximately 7% give good results, and the others do not give good results. So there is no improvement, there is no deterioration. But I'm afraid to say that for the organics, it looks like recently we go down. I don't know what is the reason. Sometimes laboratories change. Sometimes there is no anymore, let's say, emphasis on improving quality of the analysis. That is a very, very disturbing, let's say, result. So, I have 2 slides more, one with positive conclusion and one with, as we say in the UN language, room for improvement. Okay. So, on the positive, it is real that we do have a regional institution, a regulatory, and even legal framework. We should not forget that. We are not beginning from scratch. So there is the UNESMAT, the Barcelona Convention, the new ecosystem approach. It is being supported by all countries around the Mediterranean, and when I say all countries that were able to send, of course, participants, which is good. There is the European Union Marine Strategy Reform Directive, which is also an asset in order to collaborate, because, as probably you know, the EU is member of the Barcelona Convention, so it provides also assistance, financial, for that. There are a lot of national authorities which are implementing pollution monitoring programs in many countries. Israel is, of course, a brilliant example, but there are also other countries where they do implement monitoring programs. There is availability of data in many coastal areas, not all of it, and there is also research data in scientific labs. This is the positive conclusion. So we're not beginning from scratch. The challenges, the things to improve, I would say. Well, there are many. There is a geographical problem. The southern coastal drainage is very, very scarcely staffed. This is an issue. Also, we have to include emerging contaminants and microplastics in monitoring programs. The new ecosystem approach, it is an opportunity, because we don't want only to have DDT, mercury cadmium. We need to go beyond that. And this is something that is necessary. We need to have data on the open sea, or at least areas beyond national jurisdiction, because if we are only close to the coastline, it's fine, but we do not have the whole picture of that phenomenon. Very important in the quality assurance, as I showed to you, we are very much concerned because data are generated, but we are not sure if they're quality assured. Data availability should increase because there are already existing data platforms. Israeli one is one, but there are also EU platforms under development, DemosNet, for example. So it is necessary that the countries will bring their data and these platforms for improving data availability. And in relation to the ecosystem approach, as I said, it is necessary to define the background concentrations in chemical and biota in order that things have a comparison at the regional level, of course. It cannot be an whole Mediterranean in any area, and to develop environmental assessment criteria for the Mediterranean region through targeted ecosocial studies. So this is it. Thank you for your attention. I didn't take too much longer. Thank you very much. No, there is a question where left hanger. Yes, it's a matter of definition. Because the background concentration is more related to a pre-industrial era. And as you see, it does not have any real, let's say, implication in the good environmental status target. The good environmental status target is related to T1. That was the approach taken in Oslo because they wanted to also have a background concentration. I think that is interesting from a scientific point of view. I'm not quite sure that is really relevant and important from a regulatory point of view. In the regulatory point of view, we need to know where we stand on the good environmental status. So under this approach, maybe it's more important to define the T1, like Spain. But being a scientist, I would like also to say, why not? Let's try to get the background concentration as well. Nick.
You mentioned that one of the objectives is protecting public health. And I'm wondering what your feeling is, sense, as the relative dangers of any of these contaminants compared to pathogenic microorganisms or antibiotics used excessively in agriculture operations. How do you think the pathogens or antibiotics compare as potential risks to human health to cadmium, for example?
Well, no, you're right. Well, it depends. Because for some of these contaminants, the real risk of the health is not very important. For mercury, by the other hand, it is important. Because you know very well that we have this anomaly of mercury in the Mediterranean. There is a lot of let's say, consumption of tuna and other top predators, like swordfish, which are accumulating a lot of mercury, especially sushi. Mercury is volatile, sushi may have bigger problem than when you cook the fish. But anyway, there is an issue. How to compare it? Look, do you prefer to die from mercury poisoning, or do you prefer to die from biotoxins by eating shellfish? I wouldn't choose. Well,
I don't think that's a fair way of putting it.
No. You try to say what is it. Look, frankly speaking, it has to be demonstrated. I don't know. For some areas in the world, metals are many much more important than others. For example, okay, it's not Mediterranean, but the arsenic problem in the Southeast Asia is causing thousands of deaths,
Sure.
which are not caused by marine particles.
That's not in the marine environment.
It's not the marine environment, it's true. Yeah. Nevertheless, okay, still, methyl mercury is an issue of concern. It may be not as lethal as you read, let's say, pathogens because of neurotoxins. If you eat oysters raw, you may get neurotoxin and diarrhea and die. This is more, let's say, direct. The mercury is something more, let's say, subtle. It can accumulate in your body and can create a problem in the future.
So, given that, I'm just wondering if there's any consideration for monitoring, because I suspect that the risks to public health are much more pronounced for pathogens than for medicine. And I work on this, right? But, including it. But, I'm wondering if in the monitoring programs, if there's any effort for some sort of systematic monitoring of pathogens.
Yes.
Not, within any individual country, but a Mediterranean-wide.
I'll go back. You see, here it is the level of non-harming contaminants do not exceed standards. So it goes for regulatory level in situ and does not include only metals. It includes also pathogens. The other thing is the enterococci for established standards for recreational water. So these are included, the microbiological pollutants, because this one, it should not be seen, it should not be seen as, when we speak contaminant, does not mean necessarily only metals or organics. It could include, and is including also pathogens, because regulatory limits for consumption are also for pathogens. So it is included. The effort in the environmental, in this ecosystem approach, is to include all possible stressors, not just to do pollution. And I do agree that sometimes, I would say, stressors to the environment, fisheries, may be a bigger stressor to the environment than pollution, because it decimates fish stocks and creates an impact, direct impact to the availability of food. So this is something that is true, and I agree with you. It is not just try to concentrate only on the chemical issue.